It's a bear. Good morning. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. I've got the Deerfield live camera up, the underwater live camera on YouTube. It's almost what we'd call it otherworldly. Take a look right there. You can see barracudas. There's a couple schooling back there, and you got your look downs, a couple mangroves in there. And what are those? Those are Bermuda chubs. There's your look downs. Like I said, they almost look like alien spaceships. All right, let's get into precious metal markets and see what's going on today. Got a couple cool things we're going to share. I'm going to go over early with some prices and prices on different product, what you should be paying, what you probably shouldn't be paying, in my opinion. Again, all this stuff is my opinion, folks. Take it for what it's worth. Who am I? I'm Brian Kuzmar. I've been doing this business since 1977, actually earlier. I can't really say earlier because I was too little to do it earlier, but second generation dealer. My father was in this business here. I believe he started when I was a little kid, came to Florida, opened some coin shops, and again, I kind of started part-time in 1977. I've been doing it ever since. That's the precious metal market, rare coin market, and I do other things as well. So I do have a little bit of expertise in physical markets when it comes to retail and wholesale markets, and I want to go over that. We'll go over some good deals with you and some prices. Meanwhile, let's take a look and see what's happening in prices today. Oh, my theme, my mantra. Thank you, Joey. I think Joey brought up the word mantra. Yesterday I had a complete brain fart for about 30 seconds. I was going to redo the video. I said, you know what, let's just be honest. Everyone has brain farts. I'm going to show people when I have them as well. So no editing on this show, obviously. It's just, it is what you hear. So my mantra, my theme for the year is going to be think for yourself and question authority. And I'd like you to pass this along to other people. And this is a real important thing that we remember because, a lot of us out there, not us, not the people listening to these videos, but there's a lot of folks out there that they get all their information, all their data from about 30 minutes of news in the evening and the night, depending on what their favorite flavor is, whether it's blue or red. But still, they get spoon-fed a single narrative. Let's take a look and see why. What is going on here? All right, can't find that. And let's take a look at gold prices. Oh, I know what that was. Another one of my memes here. We'll skip the meme today and go straight into gold and silver prices. Looking pretty strong overall. Can't argue about these prices right here. Let's take a look. And I'm going to do a quick refresh, see if it's maintained or, yeah, it's about the same here. And let's take a look at the overnight prices. We'll look at the 24-hour charts. Also, I'm going to go over, as you can see, I've got the JM Bullion page marked up here. I'm going to go over, I was going to pull up APMEX SD because those are the guys that we advertise to beat here in our local store. Again, we're a local brick and mortar only. We only sell locally. But I'm going to go over JM since they really, out of the three, they are the 800-pound gorilla as far as precious metals online goes. And I'm going to show you the different products that you need to stay away from. Again, I advise you to buy local. Don't buy from online people. I don't care whether it's Tire Rack or this or that or whoever, tires, jewelry. Buy local. Keep that money local. Nothing wrong with these companies, particularly the one I'm pointing out. It is an 800-pound gorilla, but they provide a decent service and their prices aren't bad. But local dealers can always beat them or should be able to beat any of the big online guys pretty easily. We don't have their overhead. Plus, we can give personal face-to-face service, something they can't do. Well, and won't be able to do. They again, it's all about expenses. Let's take a look at the overnight 24-hour chart. Oh, hold on, I didn't discuss gold prices here. 1809.34, the low overnight, currently sitting at 1820.65. I'm sorry, the high was 1820.65 right there. And 1815.58 is where we're currently sitting at the moment. It's up a couple bucks overall from yesterday. We'll look at the 24-hour chart and see where the movement occurred mostly. I suspect in COMEX, where it usually does. In the morning, where it has been usually. That's been the norm of late. Silver, $22.99. Looks like she's kind of busted through that $23 mark here. We're sitting at $23.45 was the high overnight, and sitting currently at $23.27. But again, remember, we are not through the year yet. I still feel like I'm going to get smacked in the back of the head by one of the New York COMEX positions out there. Like an abused child, but it's kind of weird. It seems like those takedowns, those knockdowns have backed off a little bit. I'm starting to wonder if the pressure that a lot of people are putting it on COMEX and the CFTC, and again, COMEX, their regulators, which are the CFTC. I'm starting to beginning to think that there is some pressure on them. I mean, I'm not saying because the pressure that we put on them on this video, and the complaint forms that we filled out, and the number of times we've called, and maybe you guys have as well. I hope you have. We got to keep the pressure on them, but I kind of think that the word is getting out there. Ted Butler had mentioned that the cat's out of the bag, man. I mean, Ted Butler didn't say that, but maybe he did. But more or less, the cat's out of the bag. People know. Stackers out there, hundreds of thousands of people. And there's a couple, almost 170,000 Wall Street silver folks. We can take a look at real quick here. How many apes are out there now? And let me wait for that page to pop up. Looks like, there we go, 173,000 apes out there. I would bet you 170,000 of them know exactly the games that COMEX plays on that's huge, folks. Again, the cat's out of the bag. COMEX and the CME group can no longer hide this manipulative behavior by these big short sellers who have been doing it for years and years. JP Morgan, we talked about them yesterday, actually. A lot of views on that video as well. People are always interested in JP, but a lot of people still mistaken that JP owns that short position. My understanding is JP has been out of that short position for quite some time. And as I said in yesterday's video, what is the big secret? Well, it's really not a secret. The secret is JP is set up for the next bull market in precious metals to make $1 trillion. They will definitely be bigger than the GDP of most countries by the time this gold and silver run is done. Again, if you missed my video yesterday, that's kind of what we discussed. So let's take a look. Well, again, I digress a little bit, but you know how I go. So you know how I roll, man. Platinum 988.78 currently. Overnight's 968.80, 991.33 is the high. We still, a chart guy was kind of suspecting that we were going to see a sub 900 or 850 level on platinum. Chart guy is one of the guys, a very intelligent man that knows his charts very well. And I was in a mode where I wasn't mode trashing charts, but I was kind of explaining how I didn't really trust charts. I thought charts were like a, like a rear view mirror. They'll tell you where you've been. They'll give you the data on what's happened in the past, which is helpful to know where you're going. If you know where you've been in the past, knowing where you're going is important. But I might have made a few discouraging remarks about charts, and the chart guy kind of squared up a few things. But anyways, I did buy that sub $900 dip on platinum. I actually got my girlfriend to buy platinum at sub 900, and she's looking pretty at the moment right now. I thought it was a good buy. So 968, 991. Look, almost touched that. We're almost at that $1,000 mark of platinum again. Not sure we're going to see that sub 900 level, but again, the year's not over with, and we got a new year to contend with. However, I think this last year was just kind of complete. Never underestimate the power of central banks. Never underestimate the guy that has the printing press. The man Oz. The Federal Reserve bankers. The central bankers, the guys that run the whole world. Never underestimate what they can do. Take a look at the stock market. It is just absolutely sailing right now. It's not because these companies right here are making great products. It's all because it's just a never-ending cycle of printed money just getting dumped into that stock market. That's the only reason that most of these stocks are up. It's not because they make great product. When's the last time Apple did anything special, really? When's the last time their phones were just like off-the-hook sales? Apple's stock is only worth what it is, like most stocks out there, because of investor money. And why is that? It's just cheap fuel. It's just the greatest bubble of all time that the Fed's created with this cheap money, whether it's NFTs, people buying really shitty art for too much money because they've got too much money to start with. NFTs, that's a rich man's folly, and I call it a folly because it's a bunch of bullshit, crap art. But anyways, oh boy, I'm going off on tangents here. Let me keep a straight path, Brian. So stock market right now, when is this all going to take a shit? Let's move along here. Again, I can go off on a few different tangents. I'm going to try to stick to a couple tangents only. Let's take a look at the 24-hour charts in gold here. And as we can see, come on, man, let's do a refresh on that screen. And I did a Biden there. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, let's take a look at I didn't say I have to take a Biden. I just said I did a Biden. All right, bad joke, I know. Let's see here, 24-hour spot gold bid. Again, the action where, of course, New York COMEX market right there. There's a New York NYMEX. Things are kind of like sideways from last night, up a little bit by a couple bucks. And then boom, banged in New York, and then we're kind of back up again. So, your monkey hammering usually has been taking place in COMEX here. Used to be thinly traded hours during holidays is primarily, it's what makes me suspect that we could still see some major monkey hammering towards the end of the week here. I'm not sure if markets are open on, I don't think they're open on Friday, but I have to check, actually, I should know that. But we still got Thursday and maybe possibly Friday. Again, I'm not sure what markets are open Friday, if any, maybe none. But no less, there's still time for them to monkey hammer those markets, and it's likely to be done in the New York Globex market, the New York NYMEX market. But again, there's your dip right there in New York, which has typically been when New York opens up till 12 noon time for the last 2 months, 3 months, I don't know, I stopped counting. Again, like I said, the monkey hammering used to occur on Sunday nights, probably in the Globex markets. It would occur on Fridays usually, and they would occur during holidays, thinly traded markets, or when the Powell, probably right. When Powell or the Fed speak was out there jawboning markets, then they would hit it as well before and after, depending on what, anytime that there were suggestions of in the past, they would hit the gold and silver markets when Powell would go out and jawbone about raising rates. This is after 2012, when he started, well, we're going to have to, what was it, 14, 16, 7, I forget when he really started jawboning raising rates, but it did kind of knock gold down a bit because there was that false narrative that Powell raising rates would lower the price of gold, which is complete bullshit. Powell would have to raise rates up into what they did in 1980. Who was it? Not Greenspan, but man, I forgot the guy's name already. But no less, Powell would have to raise rates up into that 8-9% range, which is never going to happen. The only thing Powell can do right now is insignificantly raise rates a little bit, jawbone it, make it a big deal, make it look like something, oh wow, we're raising rates, but it's insignificant, little points, a quarter point or a point, whatever the hell they call it. Again, for Powell for gold to go down, Powell would have to raise rates, and again, so providing people didn't think that they would default raising rates that high, Powell would have to raise rates again up to that 8-9% in order to, again, what is it, real rates. Real rates would have to beat the potential return of, owning gold, the fact of owning gold. And again, that's just a bullshit narrative. Wow, I digress again. Sorry about that, folks. So look at this spike right here. Now we're back up into that 1815 territory. It looks like we touched 1820, as I said yesterday. Again, overnight markets 1820. Let's take a look at silver here real quick as well. Where are we at? Again, take a look at this New York market. Guess where? And again, just the opposite kind of happening there. There you go. You got an upswing, but most of the action, oddly enough, has been taking place at New York. Most of the action in gold and silver has been taking place in New York COMEX markets, mostly to the downside, but also to the upside during these mornings. Again, opening till about noontime. Take a look at it right here, up on the big swing. Well, this is something we've seen for a while. My opinion on this is these day-to-day things that we look at, these daily spot prices that I talk to. It's just something to talk about, really. The fact is that you don't even have to look at these daily markets, even weekly, folks. It's kind of fun that we can talk about them. It's fun to look at them. It's fun to look at the pattern. But in my opinion, again, it's just my opinion that you can buy gold. You can't do this with any other asset, really. I don't believe you really can. I think you can buy gold and silver, stick it in a safe for 50 years and come back, and you're not going to ever have to worry about it lost its value, gone bankrupt, or took off on you, unless you didn't hide it well. So it's one of the only things, other than property, but again, with property, you got to pay taxes, you got to pay insurance. If you don't pay your taxes and insurance on property, they're going to take it away from you. With gold and silver, as long as you got a good hiding place, there are no taxes, there's no insurance, there's no fees, there's no anything, folks. It's your block of gold and your blocks of silver don't require much at all. In fact, for 5,000 years, they haven't asked much of us other than just to store them in a safe place. And they've held their value, unlike any other investments out there, including a lot of people like to talk about, well, here's the next gold. Not even effing close. This Bitcoin is not even close to being the next gold. Not even close. You got another 4,900 years to go plus before Bitcoin gets the track record that gold and silver has. Gold and silver has outlived empires, countries. It'll outlive JP Morgan for sure, but no less, no comparison whatsoever between Bitcoin and gold and silver. Gold and silver is about wealth preservation. It's about, again, you could put it away for 50 years. Let me ask you this question, even if you're a Bitcoin person, all right? If I gave you an option, I said, here's $100,000. I want you to, and again, it was all your money. It's everything you had to live on the rest of your life. And I gave, I'm not saying I'm gonna give you $100,000. You worked your whole life, you got $100,000 now, you got $50,000, whatever it may be, 10,000, 5 million, all right? It's just a theoretical. And I said to you, well, you've only got two options. And I know this is kind of I said to you, but I give you two options. I'm gonna take all your hard-earned money that you've had since, that you've worked for, and that you're gonna live off the rest of your life. You're 50, let's say you're 50, and I'm gonna say, all right, I'm going to make you retire right now. I'm going to take all the money you've earned, dollars, whatever, in the fiat currency, and I'm going to put it in two areas. I'm either going to put it in Bitcoin or I'm going to put it in gold and silver. Which would you want if you only had those two options for the long term? If that was it, that's the only place you could put your money for the long term. Where would you put your money? Bitcoin or gold or silver? Folks, I know what even the strongest Bitcoin advocate would say. He'd rather put the money in gold and silver because it does have a track record. It's got security. It's been around for a long time. However, it just doesn't mean that people shouldn't play in that Bitcoin marketplace. If you know how that game is played, you can make money, make lots of money, folks. It's just like a casino to me. Very volatile as well. More volatile than a casino. But if you're making money there, here I would advise that maybe you take half that money and stick it in gold and silver so you can actually own something later. All right, let's move into JM Bullion here real quick. Again, JM Bullion, I advertise here at Commercial Rare Coins to beat JM, SD, and AppMex. I'm really not going to go over the other two. JM is really the biggest of the three out there, and those are the three big 800-pound gorillas on online gold and silver sales. Excuse me, I'm going to take a quick sip here. One second. And as you know, I over and over and over say, listen, whether it's jewelry, bullion, cars, tires, you name it, whatever it may be, try to buy local, keep that money local, even if you have to pay a little more. But the nice thing with precious metals is most dealers out there, coin dealers and precious metal dealers that have been around for a little while, we know this business pretty well. We know where to access the product. It's not a big deal. We get product at the same price as JM does oftentimes, except they have their own mint called SilverTowne. Not many people know that, but SilverTowne is owned by JM, and actually, not many people know this. JM actually is owned by, oh my God, AIER out in California. AIER is a huge company. They've been around for a long time. And let me show you AIER's stock. They actually have a stock. Here's a company that owns JM Bullion right here, AIER. And their stock's worth 60. They've done very well over the last couple of years. But let me move back to what I was talking about. Again, it's easy for me to get sidetracked here. Prices. I'm going to take a look and see what they recommend here, what they're recommending from Brian. Let's take a look. That's overpriced. That's $30 an ounce. Unless you want half ounces, I got them for cheaper than that. Why they last? Not many. I wouldn't stock them, but I can beat that price right there. Don't buy 2021 Eagles unless you're filling a set, because that is way too much money for a piece of silver. Way too much money for a piece of silver. $37.81. Come on, man. That gets into collectible value, and that thing is certainly not collectible. There's nothing rare about it, nor will it ever be rare. No rarer than a 1996 Silver Eagle or an 86 Silver Eagle, probably less. So don't get suckered into buying Silver Eagles. They're still overpriced. Even the common ones at Spot Plus 980. I'm not sure. What do they have them on here? I'll take a look in a moment. Well, since we're here, let me look. Silver. Let's say Silver Eagle. Let's see what they're getting for common Silver Eagles. Again, I can beat their price. Yeah, I can. 1 ounce American random years. Culls are damaged. That's not a bad idea. Cull or damage, but still too much. I mean, the whole idea of having Silver Eagles is that they're pretty. You know what I mean? So, I wouldn't buy those actually. They're still too much at that money, in my opinion. Let's take a look at 2022s as low as $31.73. 1 ounce random years, $31.53. Jeepers, man. Hang on, what is that math actually? Let me do the math here real quick. I'm going to use their spot price, which always seems to be different than other spot prices here by a little bit one way or another. I didn't refresh this page. Let's just refresh it. 23.16 is where we're currently at. Let's see what JM is showing for their silver price. Their price is about 8 cents higher than what I'm showing. So they're showing 20. I'm going to use their number. Ready? Let's just use Siri up here. Let's take a look here. 31.53 subtract 23.24. $8.29 premium. They've actually backed it down a little bit, so they're at $8.29 over spot, as low as. Now remember, that's for larger quantities. I think when you just do 1 to 10, well, let's take a look and see what they have. There we go. One. What is one? By the time you're done, you're paying $32.45 for one. And again, I think they have quantity discounts. I'm not quite sure about them. I can still beat that price. What do they say? They were at 8 and change. I can beat their number at 8 spot plus $8 here in the store. But you know what? If you come in and ask me for these Silver Eagles, I don't want to sell them to you. They're still overpriced at $8. I got them in stock, but stay away from them. Same thing with 2021s. Cool designs. And I like, actually I didn't like the reverse design, but I'm starting to like it a little bit more. Again, at $33, it's just too much money, man. It really is. Let me go back to specials. Again, I'm sure APMEX and SD Bullion are going to be similar, even though they will run specials occasionally. And there's a lot of little guys out there as well that can beat the pants off some of these guys. But folks, as I said, you can't do anything better for your community and yourself and your family and your friends than buy local. I don't care what it is. Keep that money local. These big entities out there are going to just suck the money out of your state, your city, your locality, and it's not good for you. Let me take a look at what they recommended for me. Silvertown bars. Now, as I said, JM, one of the advantages that JM does have out there is they're owned by APMEX. APMEX also owns Silvertown Mint, this mint right here. So, they can supply their own 1 ounce product. When everyone else doesn't have any, JM does have the advantage of being able to make their own generic product. And of course, they're going to fill JM Bullion's orders first before they fill in any other orders. So they may have generic 1 ounce and generic 10 ounce and hundreds when no one else has them out there. But I can still beat their prices even for product that they make themselves. Look at that, $26.95. Let's see how much over that is. You know what? You guys can do the math. There's what they're using for the spot price, $23.26, and 24, 25, 26, 27. That's almost $4 over. We can beat that price for sure. These are the 1/10 Eagles. They're overpriced, $268. Again, stay away from 1/10 ounce gold Eagles, folks. I don't like any of the fractional product, but if you can happen to find some of the odd foreign coins like British sovereigns at 0.2354 ounce each, and then you've got Austrian 1 ducats. I think they're 0.09 or 0.1107 or something. There's some other product out there in fractional stuff you can pay. I mean, really, look at that. That's 1/10. That's $2,600 an ounce, folks. You are not going to make any money until you break even at $2,600 an ounce. Bad buy. Much better deals in gold and silver. And that's the beauty of having a local dealer, too, face-to-face. You come in, we're going to tell you what the best deals on this stuff. We're not going to just let you out here on your own buying overpriced, pretty, shiny shit, Again, I'm not dissing this company. They just put up whatever they have out here. But a lot of this stuff is just overpriced and too much. What's the best deal that I can see here as far as silver goes? You know what? I'm going to go over to their page. It says in stock. Where is it? In stock silver. In stock silver. There we go. Now, I'm going to point out what their best deals here on the page. And why I'm doing this is hopefully that you can go to your local dealer, or if you live here in South Florida, you can come to me, and you're going to get a better deal than this for sure. I'm going to say their 1 ounce Sunshine Mints are going to be their cheapest product out there. And this is the price, again, remember, with the price at $23.30 right now, silver, and what is it really? It's around 23. I notice they do kind of, it's 23.20, it's about the same. Okay, so they're jiving there together. Where'd I go? Oh, man. I forgot. Oh, there's JM right there. I kind of gave away where we're going to go here in a little bit, too, as well. Mr. Ron Paul, little article by him. So best deals out here, again, I think are going to be their 1 ounce, their 10 ounce, and 100 ounce generic bars. And the fact that JM Bullion makes any generics are fine as long as the price point's good. You should not be paying any more than spot plus $3.75 per ounce for 1 ounce generic rounds. You shouldn't be paying any more than spot plus $3.50 maximum for 10 ounce bars in generic form as well. Any of the generic forms are good. Doesn't matter if it's Silvertown or whoever. And 100 ounce bars are probably the best deal out there, and you should be paying no more than spot plus $3.25 for them. I would avoid Maple Leafs. I would avoid the obviously Silver Eagles. As much as I love Silver Eagles, they're just overpriced, man. They really are. And let's take a look here. What other good deals out there? Well, I'm going to skip. I mean, some stuff like this is cool. I mean, look at $26.79. Who doesn't like that design? But when you start buying designs and pretty shiny stuff, you know, you're gonna just overpay for it, and you're not going to get that money back. When silver starts to skyrocket and go through the roof, I saw it in 1980. And we get into a bubble territory, and trust me, gold and silver will get to bubble territory. When it takes that sky, you know, that roller coaster to the freaking moon, and it takes, you know, that rocket straight up with the roller coaster, it will hit over exuberant highs. That's when everyone will be talking about gold and silver, including, you know, the person that cuts your hair. My apology to the hair cutting people, but you know the old saying is when the shoe shine guy, and there's no more shoe shine guys, are there, where your hair salon starts talking about buying gold and silver, the market's probably overheated. And when it will be, and when that does happen, you will be getting no more for your Silver Eagles than the guy standing next to you with 100 ounce gold bars that he paid substantially less for. Trust me, that's how it works, folks. Even in the long term, it's not worth the premiums. I'd rather see you stack more silver. Let's take a look at gold real quick here. In stock gold, gold bars. Let's go in stock gold and see what's going on here. Gold Eagles are still overpriced, I think. I'm not sure what they're getting for them. I think we got them for random dates at spot plus 122. No, spot plus 117. Got to admit, though, gold, all the gold premiums have come down substantially since they were a year or two ago. I mean, at one time, Gold Eagles were spot plus $200, man. It's just crazy. They even went a tad over that. So were Buffaloes. They're down to a more reasonable level. And again, you know, I'm not hating on Gold Eagles at 117. I was hating on them at a spot plus 200, same with Buffaloes, but I'm not hating on them at spot plus 117. With gold at $2,000, that's a reasonable premium when you think the percentage-wise. But there are better deals out there. What are the better deals? Gold bars. Again, I encourage you to buy local. I can beat the prices on here, as should your local dealer. Keep that money local. Maples are also cheaper than Gold Eagles, but bars are probably the best deal out there, not these ones. I love these things that you can break down, but they're just priced at a crazy number. And Valcombe gold bars, Perth gold bars, Rand gold bars, if you can buy those, what's the best deal they have here? It looks like Rands are the best that they have online. They got them on sale as well too. But again, your local dealer, as I do, should be able to beat their prices pretty handily at JM Bullion. So that's pretty much my whole thing. I'm open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. Folks, I know some of you would like to do business with me, but remember, I'm a brick and mortar in South Florida. I don't ship. We don't do anything online. You know, just old school, you know, OG, an OG coin dealer, original gangster. So, you know, I do encourage you to find local dealers before you shop online. I mean, if you live out in your closest dealer is 600 miles away, I get it. Or, but again, take an hour drive, 2 hour drives. That's how serious I am about this. Even if you have to drive 2 hours to find yourself a good dealer, I think it's important that you establish this relationship because you are going to have to sell at some point as well. And I don't like shipping. Even though most of our business is done in shipping in the bullion business, I get nervous every time a package goes out there. And I can imagine that you're going to feel the same way if you got to sell this stuff. So find yourself a good local dealer. My suggestion, a good gauge on local dealers is first off, check online, see if they have a good reputation. Google has actually been pretty good with that, Google pages. If that's the case, I also like to deal with someone that's been in the business full time for a decade or more. That's just kind of like a minimum schooling that I like to see people have. So deal with people that have been in the business for a decade or more and find someone that has good reviews locally. Even if you have to drive a couple hours to find someone in your state, better than sending the money outside, in my opinion. Well, what's happening with the stock market? Kind of the same thing. It's just being fueled by the greatest bubble of all time, created by the Fed, the ultimate showman and the guy behind the curtain, the people with the endless printing presses. And again, this is what's fueling the greatest bubble of all time right now. How will this greatest bubble of all time implode? Interesting. Let's see if it does it slowly or if it does it overnight. I suspect they learned their lesson in 2008 about overnight crashes, so they may let this one down slowly, but no less, keep stacking your gold and silver. You're going to do fine with it, in my opinion. Let's see, all portfolios. How's my stock portfolios doing? My faux stocks. I asked a bunch of you if you wanted me to keep talking about, even though I'm not a stock guy, and again, don't listen to me. Actually, I'm asking you guys in comment section for opinions on what you like in stocks, and I've been watching and listening, added a couple here just recently, but I'm not going to go too much into this because this will take a little while, but once a week we'll talk about my faux stock picks. And what they're doing and what your guys' suggestions are, because when gold and silver bubble up, I'm all about diversifying. If I have enough money, like I would with the casino, if I have some casino money, I might even play with this. Money that I don't care if I lost. I might even play with this at some point when I figure out how this game is played. But unfortunately, it'll be a while. But no less, let's take a look and see what's going on out here. Hey, I was looking at Zero Hedge, and the only reason I kind of stopped on this page right here, because I wanted to share this. I thought this was just so cool. The French are going through elections. Fortunately for the French, and I don't know if it's fortunate, but they have more than two parties that run the whole damn show. Here in our country, we have what I call a duopoly. Basically, it's one party, two parties sharing everything. All right, it's your turn. You won. Okay, you go ahead and rape and pillage, and they just kind of share that whole thing right there. I like the idea of having multiple parties and not having two parties control everything. But again, I digress. We're not talking about this. However, what I did want to point out that I thought this was really cool, and give me 1 second here. And where does it say? The people of France elect contenders must be allowed, starting an upper limit, must just, hold on, here we go. Once the official campaign has begun, each candidate must have strictly the same amount of airtime on TV and radio. Folks, I believe, a long time ago, I actually ran for District 91 against Connie Mack here in Florida. The Libertarian Party asked me to do it. But I was really surprised that the Sun Sentinel, Miami Herald, and the Palm Beach Post, I sat down with the editorial reviews. They said, man, we like you a lot. Do you have any money in your accounts, for your finance campaign? And I said, no. And immediately they said, even though they liked me way better than Connie Mack Jr. As a candidate, because I didn't have campaign funds, they couldn't consider me a viable candidate. Well, there you go. And how was I going to compete against Connie Mack and the Republican Party as far as campaign funds? I wasn't. This is how the two-party system keeps people out. And I like this idea. Strictly have the same amount of airtime on TV and radio. The fact is that government controls radio and TV. What I would do is just take emergency channels or take public channels and put none on news, no TV advertising for politicians. Just let them advertise on public, the public access channels, 2 or 3 or whatever it is, or on airwave, air TV, and radio on a public access type form, and give them all the same amount of airtime. This way we don't have to see their shitty ads for fucking 6 months on TV as well, or see them on the news all the time. We could just turn on access channel 2 or 3 on cable or on air TV and sit there and candidate such and such will be on at 3 p.m. and watch whatever candidates we want. Boy, they got it right on that one. So anyways, I digress. I'm sorry about that, but economics and politics play a huge role in the price of gold and silver. So if when I go there, I'm going there because the worse things get, as far as economic and politically in this country, the better it is for gold and silver. And I hate to focus on the bad things, but it's good for gold and silver holders. And it gives you a reason of, hey, listen, this is why I want to hold gold and silver, because we're seeing the decline of the economy, we're seeing the decline of the social environment. These are excellent reasons to hold gold and silver, in my opinion. So for me to discuss them, I think it does play in. And on top of that, it's just who I am. It's something I enjoy doing as well. Well, And some of you may not like politics and economics, and I'm sure of those of you who don't will watch my channel once, and that's pretty much it. For the rest of you, I think we're all on the same page. I'm going to take a look at, there's not too much here to talk about. Buyers, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That is an absolute truth. It's not the critter that has shut down or caused inflation. It is the reaction by the morons across the world, political morons and government official morons. It's the reaction that they had to the Critter 19, which has caused all the issues. They're going to try to blame it on Critter 19. Oh man, you went broke, your business went belly up, or everything got ruined because of that. No, 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 Mr. Government official and politician. It didn't get ruined because of Critter 19. It got ruined because of your boneheaded, stupid freaking decisions. All right, you know me. I got to be careful. I'll go into a bunch of F-bombs here. I'm going to calm down. I'm very passionate about a few of these things. And let's move out of here and see what is going on again out in ZH world. You know the reason I like ZH is just because it's a different viewpoint, different opinion, and not just one opinion, multiple different opinions on different subjects. Something you will never see in corporate news. They send you they feed you a single point narrative, the official narrative. This is what we believe, and this is what you need to believe. I like looking at other viewpoints, even if I don't agree with them. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's about time they're admitting that. And where else are we going to go here? This guy just needs to go away. You know, I said if I ever seen him in public, I'd give him the biggest wet willy he's ever had. Double wet willies. And then if some of you were with me, we'd probably hold him down and give him a pink belly. Are there some folks old enough to remember what those means? For those of you that don't, it's more joking, anything, so don't take it too seriously. Actually, though, I would give him a wet willy if I saw him in public. I don't know if that's a crime. Is it a crime to give someone a wet willy? Maybe. World Seas, probably today it is. World Seas record, okay, let's not talk about this. Again, what we were just talking about, I just can't believe that the markets are doing what they do, but when you have a Fed that can endlessly print money and pump money into the greatest bubble of all time, this is what you get. You get futures at all-time highs. Folks, when is that going to implode? When? Is it this year? I mean, we're all waiting for it. Even people that don't want to think about it, and even people that would be in denial typically about the greatest bubble of all time, they're all saying the same thing. When is it going to go? Even people that don't want to see it go or would normally be in denial about it we all understand that it's going to go, but when? All right. Let's kind of move up here. Kind of interesting article here that we're going to get into, and I'm going to talk about that real quick. Is the crack boom up here by Ron Paul? And really quick article, and you know me, I can read pretty fast. Bloomberg News recently solicited advice from Argentinians who live through the country's high inflation on how Americans should cope with rising inflation. The Argentinians suggested Americans spend their paycheck as fast as possible to avoid future price increases. They also suggested taking out loans that can be paid back later in devalued currency. That's pretty damn smart if you think about it. But you know, again, they were asking Argentinians in a poll or something what Americans should do if they're given a similar situation as they are. What a crazy cool suggestion. Taking out loans that can be paid back later in devalued currency. That's an awesome idea, actually. Let me think about that, but let's move along. These strategies may make sense for individuals. However, encouraging debt and discouraging savings is disastrous for the country. Relying on debt and spending one's paycheck immediately encourages people to seek instant gratification instead of planning for the future. This depletes both economic and moral capital. Now, Ron Paul is exactly right on this. Big fan of Ron Paul, folks, in case you don't know it. November's 9.6 increase in the producer's price index combined with the consumer price index increase to levels not seen since the early 1980s show why fears of inflation have become the public's #1 concern. Even the Federal Reserve has acknowledged that inflation is just not transitory. The Fed recently announced that it is accelerating the timetable to reduce its monthly purchases of Treasury and mortgage-backed securities, the taper, of course. The Fed also announced it's planning 3 interest rate increases next year. That's bullshit jawboning, in my opinion, but let's move along here. However, the Fed plans to do more rate increases by no more than 1%. And again, what did I say a little bit earlier? 1%. It's nothing. They'll make a big deal, and they'll try to knock the price of gold down. That's when they'll try to monkey hammer the price of gold. As soon as they say we're going to move it up by 1%, under the guise that that's going to change real rates, which is total bullshit. It won't do anything. It won't have an effect on the price of gold at all. In fact, probably gold will go up if we see a rate increase here after they monkey hammered it down trying to scare everyone out of gold. Again, my opinion. So even the Fed does not follow through on its promise to hike rates, it will do little, if anything, to combat rising prices. If the Fed allowed interest rates to rise to anything approaching market levels, it would make the federal government's debt servicing cost unsustainable. This puts tremendous pressure on the Fed to maintain low rates. And that's what I've said in a long time. Unless the Federal Reserve is going to throw the United States government under the bus, which I really don't see happening, they're not going to raise rates anything meaningful. And again, we talked about that earlier, quarter point, 1 point, big frickin' deal. They'll jawbone on how big that is just to keep people out of gold as well, and other things, and to make it sound like things are getting better, but no, it's bullshit. Unless they raise it up, unless the Fed raise rates up until what, 6, 7, 8% or higher, there's no such thing as real rates or a real return per se on any Fed treasuries or anything. Let's move along here. The biggest victims of the Fed Reserve's erosion of the dollar are lower, and I've been saying this for a long time, working class peeps, man, us peeps. The victims of Federal Reserve's erosion of the dollar are lower and middle class Americans whose paychecks do not keep pace with Fed-caused price increases. Yet many progressives still cling to the fallacy that average workers somehow benefit from continued dollar devaluation. Well, that's because they're progressives, folks. Forgive them. You know, progressives, socialists, you know, those are the people that you want as your dog catchers working at the local shelter, because you know they're going to take good care of the animals. Most progressives and socialists, well, not most, I don't know, a lot of them are really evil now, but you know, for the most part, the ones that don't know better, they don't really know what socialists and communism really is. The young, naive ones, those are the kind of people that you put to work, again, working in hospitals, working with people, you never, ever, ever give a socialist, progressive, Marxist, communist, never give them a checkbook. Never let them handle your finances for you. Never. Again, let them take care of people if they're good at that, if they get the right attitude. Not Marxists, they're just divisive assholes. But progressives and socialists, never give them guys a checkbook, no matter how well-intentioned they are. And they are well-intentioned, some of them. Well, anyways, many progressives still cling to the fallacy that average workers somehow benefit from continued dollar devaluation. Progressives are even pushing the Fed to increase its money printing and regulatory activities to fight climate change and racism. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has embraced the woke monetary policy. President Biden's appointment of Powell and nomination of current Fed board member Lael Brainard, who is seen as more committed to woke Fed than Powell, for vice chairman, suggests that the Fed will double down on this toxic mixture of cultural Marxism and so-called monetary theory. Now, I slightly disagree with Ron Paul. I think that the Fed is way smarter than most of us think they are. Again, I've always said that they're captain of a sinking ship since 1913. The ship has been sinking, and even faster since we get off the gold standard. So the Feds know this. All they can do is try to keep everyone from panicking. That's their job, all right? So how do you keep everyone from panicking? How do you try to please everybody by jawboning everybody? And I believe that's exactly what the Fed is doing to the progressives right now. They're just jawboning them. Relax, we'll help you out with the economy stuff. And as soon as the progressives, probably in 2022, start losing all their seats and start losing any power control, and rightfully so. Again, progressives and socialists, they should be running charitable organizations. They should, and not with a checkbook. Never give progressives or socialists a checkbook or let them handle your finances, ever, no matter how well-intentioned they are. But no less, this is exactly my opinion. Recent polls show Americans expect continued large price increases. This indicates we may be on the verge of what Ludwig von Mises calls a crack-up boom. A crack-up boom occurs when the general population realizes that constant currency depreciation is a feature, not a bug, of central banking. This leads people to seek alternatives to government-issued currency, i.e. NFTs, i.e. cryptos, i.e. a lot of silly things that are people buying out there, very volatile things, and things that you wouldn't even consider an investment. The crack-up boom will likely extend overseas as more countries reject the dollar's world reserve currency status. And why do they reject the world's currency status? Mostly because the United States government has weaponized the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar used to be the favorite. Even Russians during the Cold War wanted to hold U.S. dollars. They're recognized all over the world. China, everybody wanted US dollars rather than our own currency. But what do? We weaponize the dollar against them. And who wants to be stuck with a currency that's going to be used against them if they don't go along with the US's plans? That's why we're seeing de-dollarization in China and Russia. It's a screwed situation, folks. Anyways, this is the end of this war. Crack-up booms have historically facilitated the growth of authoritarian political movements. However, this is not inevitable. If those who know the truth spread the ideas of liberty enough to people, we may be able to move through the crack-up boom to rebirth of liberty, peace, and prosperity. Steps in this direction, including convincing Congress to cut spending, legalize competing currency, and end the Fed. I agree 100% with Ron Paul there. And may I add my own little theme: think for yourselves and always question authority. Well, I think we're going to kind of call it at that right there. Oh man, there's some really good articles to read here. Oh gosh, I got to read you another one. For my folks out here that consistently watch my program, most of you I don't think are probably really socialists, and if you are, I'm not quite sure. You might think you are, and you might think it's a good thing. But let me read you a couple things I thought was really cool. 3 signs you're not actually a socialist. Number 1, you have the newest iPhone. Okay, socialists don't rely on innovation from the private sector to improve lives. They turn to centralized government planning. All right, true. That's true. So if you're 3 signs you're not a socialist. Number 1 is you own an iPhone. Number 2. When you look for an Uber, you also check for Lyft pricing. And 3rd sign you're not a socialist is you think a forest fighter, ER nurse, or garbage collector should be paid more than someone with a safer, easier job. And I have not read AIER in a little while. By the way, it's a free website. You don't have to subscribe. It is brilliant, man. It is brilliant. It's written by very brilliant people, not by some journalistic piece of shit that a Marxist or whatever it may be. It's written by very, very, again, a great site. You should put it on your bookmark bar. American Institute for Economic Research. Individualism Rightly Understood. Great article. Again, highly recommend you read this stuff. If you like this stuff, you're going to like this article for sure. And again, this was pretty cool to read. 3 signs you're not actually a socialist. Just go type in AIER. It's the American Institute for Economic Research. And you can read this stuff. Again, viewpoints that you will not see in the corporate narrative. This is why this is one of my favorite sites to read. And again, it's not written on a 6th grade level. It's written on an intelligent level that's easy to understand as well. Highly recommend you read these articles today, Individual Rights Understood, and 3 signs that you're not a socialist. Well, we're almost here to closing out this show. I'd like to give my props to Wall Street Silver. I've been posting my videos out there for folks to watch. And I don't think I've had but one taken down. It was by accident. So apparently they're very open to different ideas, different thoughts, and that I respect. And again, I'd like to thank Wall Street Silver moderators and the people that run the forum for allowing me to put my videos up there and allowing me to post my opinions, even with the little political commentary and economic commentary that I put out there. And also, there's like 173 silver apes out there collecting silver. And what a great thing this is. Again, I always like to watch and read this stuff. If you're not a member of Wall Street Silver, I recommend that you sign up. Pretty cool group. I don't see much bickering and arguing and nonsense out here. Everyone's just stoked to buy silver. And let's take a look here and see if there's anything I can comment on. Well, you know what? Let me avoid the comments today because you know me, I can go commenting forever. Let's just take a look at yesterday's video. And let me just pause it. I guess it's paused already. JP Morgan, The Secret Out. I'd like to thank everybody that watched that video. And if you get a chance and you made it through this far, please hit that like and subscribe button. It kind of lets me know who's watching and whether you guys like the videos as well. Let me see if I can answer a few questions here before we close out today's video. And I'm going to start with the newest here first. Yeah, Michael. No, Michael, thank you. I appreciate that. Mantra is the word I was looking for. The theme of my shows, or the mantra of my shows. Thank you very much. I definitely had an old person moment yesterday. For about 20 seconds, I couldn't think of the word. But again, you know, hey, man, this is who I am. This is why I didn't edit that stuff out. I never edit stuff out. I just flow with it, go with it. I'm not perfect. Dying is very popular. Everyone is doing it. Yes, that's a recession-proof business. And it is a pretty popular thing to do, isn't it? I hope it's not really a hobby, is it? Thanks for watching here. I have to agree with you, Nitro Express. Mason, Appalachian Trail. This guy needs to make notes before he does his video. I can't stand it. Oh, dude, come on. If you want to just keep watching scripted shit, you can go to the other YouTube channels. Not all of them. Some of them don't script stuff. But if you want to watch scripted nonsense, hey, there you go. This is live. Well, kind of live. It's real. It's unscripted. It's unedited. I even throw in the F-bombs in there. If you can't appreciate that, then I'm not the right channel for you. But thanks for watching anyway, Mason. I appreciate that, and you have yourself a happy holiday. Let's see what else we get going on here. What's up, William? Akeisha. No problem with political jokes, I guess. I like to bring, oh, that's pretty funny actually as well. Let me move down here again. I'd make a comment on everything you guys have to say, you know me, but let me kind of just see if there's any questions I can answer about yesterday's video. Again, I'd like to thank everybody you see here that's responded, even responses that I may not necessarily agree with. Let's see here. What can I answer? Kitco tried to tax on a palladium bar. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the tax implications there. And, oh, mantra. There's Dad Smith also says I can call it mantra, my theme. Thank you very much. And, oh, thanks for subscribing, sir. And you as well, Brian Welsh. And, yeah, I put the fish up today, Mr. Span, or Mr. or Mrs. or whoever. Spadandata. Sorry, I couldn't get that right. Oh, boy. Glad it's the end of the video here. And again, I'd like to thank all of you folks for watching. And as you mentioned, yeah, I mentioned Julian yesterday. So much over, a lot more than meets the eye there, David, with Assange. You know, I'm definitely free Assange. You know what I mean? He should not, whether you like the guy or think he's obnoxious or not, he didn't do anything wrong. They're trying to they're just pissed because he spilled dirt on really dirty people. Now, I know you mentioned that he didn't spill dirt on Russian people, but the people that whistleblowers that gave him the information were Americans, not Russians. So what do you do? Just because no Russians are giving you information and Americans are giving you information, whistleblowers are telling you dirty stuff your own country's doing? Absolutely, you publish it. Absolutely. So I disagree with you there, Dave. Any of you wonder what I'm talking about, it's like 3/4 through the video yesterday I start talking about Julian Assange and my opinion on him. You're welcome to go back and take a look at it. Even if we disagree, Dave, thanks for watching. I appreciate your comments, and you, sir, and your family have a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year's. Let's take a look. Oh, man, that's cold, minus 15 degree. I would be like one of those green lizards that fall out of the trees and dies. In Florida, when it gets down below 50, the big lizards just freeze and die and fall on the ground dead or in a comatose state. I think if I went below, I wouldn't even have to go to minus 15. I think I'd have to go to like 40 degrees and I would fall out of the tree and die myself. So, thanks for watching. That's how long I've been in Florida. My blood's so thin. Walter Lyons, Ringo Dog. Yep, thank you all again. There you go. And let's take a look here. Well, not too much to answer questions there. I'd like to thank every single one of you and wish you a Happy New Year, and I'll be wishing you a few more before the week's out. And thanks for watching, guys. Again, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button as well. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea, between the bridge and A1A, right on Commercial Boulevard. Come by and see us anytime between the hours of 10 and 4, Mondays through Fridays. I've been doing this full time since 77. Well, no, I've been started this business in started doing this in 1977. I'm a second generation dealer. I've been in this location since 1995. So if you're ready to buy or sell any type of precious metals or anything, or get our opinion on what you should buy and why, feel free to come by and see us. We're open 10 to 4. And call us anytime, 954-493-8811 if you live in South Florida. If you got questions and you don't live in South Florida and you watch my videos, again, please try to find a good local dealer. And if you got any questions you'd like to ask me, put it in the comments section below. I'm really good at answering questions. Hey, thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.